These mosaics are just a glimpse of Rome's biggest mosaic collection in the world, located in Carthage. The Romans didn't only have the luxury for art at the time. These dots represent military outposts, checkpoints, and strategic fortifications. There is even an unknown fortification similar to that of Hadrian Wall. These were maintained by the Legio Augusta for a long time, and the legion got paid in gold. Around 606 AD, if you are a Roman auxiliary or a soldier at the harsh fringes of the country, and you go to get your payment from the wage officer. But this time, the coins are different. They didn't bear the emperor's image nor name. They depicted the governor of Carthage, Heraclius, but as a proconsul, appointed by the Senate and people of Rome. Major changes was underway, and for the legion, this could only mean one thing. Heraclius and the Heraclian family practically owned Carthage, and it made them very rich. They could pay the wages of thousands of men as an army, pay the wages for shipbuilders to build the navy. So rich that they could create a new money issue with high purity just as the emperors. According to the historian Fridigar, Heraclius was striking in appearance, for he was handsome, tall, braver than others, and a great fighter. He would often kill lions in the arena and many wild boars in many places. But this eccentricity is just a facade. Heraclius didn't have the real power of violence. They were mere secretary of the emperor. The exarch is just an office title. They could be forced out of it and casted down back to the stoic, cruel Roman military ranks. But they were aware of that. So when Phocas, the new murderous emperor, started campaigning against the old Roman administration, the Heraclians were completely silent. Those on the administration, they knew Heraclius and the Heraclian family in person. The previous emperor himself was a close friend to Heraclius' father. But Maurice is no more, neither his male descendants, not even distant relatives. This Phocas, the new emperor, Roman historians labeled him as a complete lunatic. Bishop of Nicaea says that Phocas guards were forming some kind of mob gangs, looting and extorting villages and churches, and no one objected. That is, everyone got replaced. Magisters, governors, tax collectors, even the Pope. But the Heraclians were getting ready in secret. In 606, Bishop of Nicaea writes, Phocas sent orders to the province of Cappadocia that there should be brought to him the wife of Heraclius, Fabia, and his mother, and he had forced them to be placed in the house of Theodore, and Phocas sought to dishonor Fabia. Heraclius distributed large sums of money among the barbarians of Tripolis and Pentapolis. He prevailed on them to join his war. 3,000 men of barbarians stationed in Libya led by a captain named Ponakis. Then another group joined led by Heraclius' cousin Nicetas, and many other members of Heraclius' family were present. The rebellion was a big risk, and attacking the emperors directly could make everyone pay a terrible price. Not only the emperor's imperial navy could cripple Carthage, but also on land, the emperor's brother was most likely leading the elite Legio Macedonia. It is now single-handedly keeping the Persians from advancing beyond the Tigris and Euphrates. The Legio Macedonia priorities could change against Heraclius at any time, so Heraclius' target wasn't the emperor, but the biggest money and food supplier for the capital. It was Egypt. When the men approached Alexandria, the people of the city revolted. They captured the tax money and jailed the emperor's guard and opened the gate for Heraclius. And all the people rejoiced because of the revolt, and all the inhabitants of Nakios and the Bishop Theodore and many cities of Egypt joined the revolt. The celebration didn't last long. A ruthless general named Bonosus, the emperor's favorite torturer, sailed to Egypt. He marched and surprised Heraclius' army near Athrib, and prevailed. All of Heraclius' men, captains, and many relatives got killed or chained. The rest were scattered. Then a policy of punishments established by Bonosus on the towns and villages that joined the rebels. The chronicles are silent of the whereabouts of Heraclius at the time. The Persians raised two more large armies, effectively locking the Legio Macedonia on a checkmate. This is synchronized with the Slavic massive raids south of the Danube, closer to Constantinople. Few archaeological findings shows the presence of Khosrow II coins on these regions, which suggests the Persian and the Slavs were cooperating. Lombards mobilizing in Italy and violent riots broke out across Egypt, Palestine, Syria, and Antakya. Bonosus and other focused generals fled to the capital in the midst of the chaos. Then Nikita swept in, filling the void in favor of Heraclius, and within few months, Heraclius had the provincial support, had the ships, the men, and the gold, that he might have been the most powerful man in the Mediterranean and Europe. He is now the de facto emperor. 3 years since Heraclius' official coronation, and it has been a never-ending conflict after conflict, with the Persians, with the Avars, Lombards, Green-Blue factions, Zealots. Then a plague hit Constantinople and created a famine. His wife dies not long after. Many of his relatives disappeared from the records. Heraclius have had enough and chose to get back to Carthage. But there are no more historical records from the province. There is no governor, no exarch, not a single official. The last thing mentioned are the barbarians of Tripolis, or the Moors according to John of Antioch. But an inscription in Istanbul reads, "There lies Theodore. He came from the province of Mauritania. His prefect is named Tsar of the tribe of the Saracen." According to Constantine Zuckerman, these were none others than the barbarians who went with Heraclius. But didn't the Saracens invade the Roman territories many decades later under the Umayyad Caliphate? Yet here they are, decades earlier, living in the province of Carthage. I'd like to mention that a half a century after Heraclius' death, 2 decades after the Arabization of the Islamic coins, the first Muslim governor of Carthage, Musa ibn Nusayr, minted a gold coin. One side declares in Greek, "There is no God but one." The other showed Heraclius' imperial bust symboling his allegiance to Constantinople.